But like you're saying, you're not being honest with that person, and you're not helping them grow. You're making them stagnant. And I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, there's I've got to hate these adages like cruel to be kind. But if you're doing it through kindness and not through malicious. You're not
Yeah.
putting people down because you want to put them down. But I like to get people to answer questions and go, okay, then so you
Mm.
decided to jump in front of that in the water when it's iced over. Can you tell me why? And get you then to think about why, and get you to think the pros and cons. Because if you're spoon feeding people answers all the time, how much are they actually taking in?
Exactly.
And particularly if it's something they don't want to hear, they're not going to actually do anything with it. So I like to get people to think. I like to provoke thought or provoke conversations. That's another good one. Because then they'll go away and the subconscious mind then is processing what the conversation was about. And then it'll evaluate, well, actually, am I overprotecting that person when they don't need that
Yeah.
protection? And I think that's an invaluable thing. And like you're saying, a good friend is a friend who is honest.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if we know each other, because like me and you never met before. We've talked for about 2 minutes outside of the podcast. But if me and you meeting for the first time, I'd rather you tell me the truth. Hurt my feelings if need be in whatever situation to basically make me know that what you're talking about doing isn't right. Hurt my feelings. Do that for me. But I know a lot of people, they're not like that either. A lot of people will throw a fit if you disagree with what they are saying or going on about nowadays. And I don't know about you, but I've learned over the years that the yes men in people's lives, they tend to be the ones that are basically hoping for a downfall.
Yeah. But then
And yeah,
you say about these yes men, but then you've got to look at what is their purpose, what is their point. So you're saying they want to put you down, but is that because they can't move themselves up? Or is it because they want to rescue you? So then you sort of look at, well, why are they doing that? And it's not there's always a hidden agenda, as awful as that sounds. And they might say, oh, well, I'm doing it because it makes you feel better. But is
yeah,
it? What's their hidden
mhm,
agenda? They might not even know what the agenda is.
right.
But then you've got to sort of step back and have a look and go, okay.
Well, even my best friends, like I've always been right there for them. Like if they need to talk or say anything, I'm not gonna lie about how I feel about whatever they're talking about. That's how me and one of my best friends became as close of friends as we are. Is because they were talking to me about something, and like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I wish the best for everybody I come across, especially the people that I meet and I can have a heartfelt conversation with. I wish nothing but the best for them. I don't want them to have any type of bad time. I'd rather them not go through any hard times. But from a personal level, I've always been, even wanting the best for you, I've always been honest with you. I know I've hurt some of my friends' feelings. I've know that me and them, we don't see eye to eye on everything. Like if I say they're wrong or they say I'm wrong, like we actually take in account now of what each other's saying. And I have this thing where, on my side, it's playful, very much so. But I like to do a playful argument. Like I will argue with anyone about anything, knowing I'm wrong, just to basically, or even saying the same thing you're saying differently, just to see how you're gonna react with it. Because there's certain people, they don't take that well at all. And one of my best friends, he had to learn like that's what I do, and to understand that, oh hey, maybe he's not actually like picking at me or causing some type of issue. Like he's actually just, I guess, pushing it. Because it's pushing it. Like, if you know you're right in the situation, like, it's it's me making sure you have all the facts that you're speaking on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It it's from a pure, like, from myself. It's from just the kind side. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not mad. And when they notice I'm laughing or smiling about whatever's going on, they're like, "Oh, Brandon, you did it again." And
Mm.
it goes into a whole thing. But it they know. My wife knows. Like, I'll argue with her just to see her get mad sometimes, and it's funny. But maybe it's a husband thing. I don't know, but I do that with her, my kids, my mom, my best friends, my dad. And my dad, he's the one that gets maddest out of everybody. And I find it hilarious when people get mad at me. So, but it's out of joy, it's out of fun, making stuff interesting, basically.
And life's to be interesting, isn't it? It's not to be the mundane. It's not to be. I mean, obviously, some parts of life has to be mundane, like sitting at a red
Yeah.
light when you really don't want to. When
Hmm.
you're thinking and planning ahead and thinking, well, I want to get to my destination because I want fun. Um, but it's good to shake things up. It is good
Yeah.
to get, and like what you're saying, I know within the way you're talking to people and that, you'll be getting them to think differently as well,
Yeah.
even maybe not realizing that, and they're just seeing
Mhm.
it as, oh, it's Brendan being Brendan, but they'll be going away and thinking, well, he said that question against what I'd said. Why? And get the
Mhm.
thing, and I think that's a great friendship, and it's also a great way of getting people to think for themselves because people don't think for themselves anymore, do they?
No, no, unfortunately not. People, that's one of the hardest things that people go through now is the thought. So, and thinking, it's not as hard as people make it out to be either. It's just nowadays there's a thing where if you think differently, you're wrong, and it's not true. And that's part of, like, me talking with people. I'm getting, for one, I didn't know a lot about, like, what you're talking about, the anatomy, the colostomy bag, stuff like that. I didn't know not enough about it by any means. But it's learning different things. It's getting me to think like, oh, hey, that's kind of a crazy life to live by when, like, me, I have irritable bowel syndrome. I have the issue with my gut, but it's also years of stress since I was 12,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff I went through as a child. So it's like everything just built up, and it is solely built off of stress. But, like, when it happens, it happens. Like, my stomach, it reacts when I'm stressed out, or
Mm.
something bad is happening, which is stressing me out to the max, and then my stomach is acting funny all in all. Then I'm just having issues. But it's it's something I've learned to live with. I've talked to other people that apparently have the same issue, but it's all about learning.
That's just it, isn't it? It is all about learning, and the medical team, they do an amazing job. I mean, if they didn't do what they did, how many of us wouldn't be here? But then it's looking outside of that, and it's looking outside of the unconventional as well to sort of move forward and being able to be honest, but also be willing to be challenged. I mean, if somebody challenged me and said, "Oh, well, I don't agree with what you've said," and I'll go, "Well, why don't you agree?" So that I can learn. And if I said something the wrong way or I've approached it the wrong way, then I'm learning from that and I'm happy to learn. And I think that's something people forget when you get to a certain age, you stop learning. It's like you'll learn to the day you die. You never stop learning. Um, and like you're saying about the stomach, it is a very sensitive part of your body. It does hold a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, a lot of, like you say, when you go for a job interview, something as simple as that, you've got butterflies in your tummy and all that kind of thing. And when you're going into meeting, a girlfriend for the first time and you've made the date and all that, you get all the butterflies and such. But you ought, like you say, we store so much within our stomachs that we forget that it can and it does have a negative effect over time. But if you're aware of it and you know how to de-stress to bring it back down, then that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I know how to, it's that I've learned ways to avoid. But
Yeah,
then it's weird because I put myself in stressful situations to get an understanding of the situation nowadays. Like, it's not me like getting into the different arguments with people like I used to. It's not me like picking fights with people. It's just different situations I put myself into just to try to get some type of understanding of what's actually going on.
yeah.
And like I've learned to just kind of deal with the situation and the different issues. I don't have the problems with my stomach near as much as I used to when I lived in Michigan, but I look at it like in Michigan I needed space. I needed to get away from where I was, and honestly, moving to where I am, I have freed up a lot of the stress I've dealt with in my life. And it's not the necessarily the people I was around, but it's the area I was in to
Hmm.
where I truly hated the area I was in. I love the people I was around. I love the community I was around, but I hated the area I was in, so it was causing me to stress every day.
Yeah,
And it took a lot of time, but over time, me and the wife we talked, and it came to this thing where she started asking me about moving down here to Texas when I was trying to talk her into moving down here to Texas for years. And she wouldn't do it for nothing. And next thing you know, one day she's like, "Hey, what do you think of actually going?" And we moved down here. Uh, Honestly, I don't think our life could be any better right now than what it is. Due time for everything, obviously, but that's all it is. It's timing.
yeah.
And yeah.
And like you're saying, both of you've made that decision to move away. And
Mm,
I think people, because we don't talk about poo or we don't talk about bodily fluids, that you can't talk about it to anybody else. And then you're
mm,
isolating yourself. It's like we're getting better with being able to talk more about mental health and how it's impacting us and how it's affecting us. But don't talk about that again causes that internal stress, which then again upsets your stomach, and then your body doesn't adjust to living with a bag. And it's being able to explore and talk and be honest with people around you and with yourself that these
mm,
are things you need to do. You need to, like you say, whether that is just take time out and say, no, I don't want to talk to anybody today because I need to let my body rest.
yeah,
Or I'm feeling great today, so let's go for anything and everything and that all on top. And it's just finding that pattern and letting people know what that pattern is for you and
yeah,
what that rhythm is for you, and like what you and your wife's done, and like you say, it's benefited your children, which is amazing. It's benefited them as well as you two's, and it's because you're feeling better. The people around you are feeling better, and that's what I want
mm,
people with a stoma and ostomy to realize. If you're feeling, I'm not saying you're going to be jumping for joy all the time, but if you're feeling more comfortable and more confident than the people around you are, you don't realize that ripple effect
mm,
happens and goes on around your life. And I'm not saying you should be doing things just for the people around you, but you should actually be looking at how can I make people around my life better, but
yeah,
I can make my life better as well. And yeah,
yeah,
it's not brilliant. So like you say, you go buy some of my laundry, so your bag's covered up, and you're more comfortable and confident within yourself, and that will just present generally out in the world, and people won't look and always ask you questions because you get to a point, and I'd imagine you've had it yourself, where people are constantly asking you how you're feeling, how you're doing, rather than saying, how can we move forward and make your life better? Rather than dwelling on what's not right, let's look at what is right and how, or what isn't right, but what can we put in place to make it right or to make it
yeah.
better?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we've all been in a situation like that where we've only had those few questions asked.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I don't really get those questions. I haven't got those questions in a long time about how I am or uh how am I doing today rather than how I was doing yesterday or last week or whatever it is.
yeah,
Uh the only time I've ever gotten those questions, it seems, when a family member has passed away and that's it.
yeah,
But with me, it I feel the different emotions. Like I don't know how to understand my emotions where everybody else, like yourself, even like when you get upset, you cry or you make it known or whatever it might be. But I don't know how to do that. I haven't been able to get that part under wraps for myself. When I cry, I get pissed off and I tend to kind of have basically like a breaking moment in my head.
okay,
And I don't know how to handle my own emotions. And it again, down here it's been a lot better. I haven't had to deal with anything like that that pushed me over the limit by any means.
hmm,
Um but I have been in that situation where I don't know what to do. Like if I'm in a room full of people crying, I get really uncomfortable and I'll start to chuckle a little bit because I don't know how to deal with the emotions around me.
yeah,
Um, a room full of people mad and just wanting to fight everybody. I get uncomfortable and I try not to laugh because I'm uncomfortable.
yeah,
But like I don't understand how to deal with my own sadness. I'm getting better. Like I know how to. I'm getting to the point. I'm talking with my wife more. She's my therapist.
it's brilliant. Yeah,
I talk with my wife about basically everything that bothers me. A lot of stuff that has happened when I was younger that I don't talk to anybody about. She knows. Um, but there's a lot of stuff I won't speak on that she knows where nobody else in the world knows.
yeah. It's
So
like, which is brilliant that you've found somebody who you can do that with, and they're doing it with compassion. Because there's lots of parts of life where you're ridiculed for having thoughts and having feelings and having, and if you've been, I don't know whether it's so much where you was brought up that boys don't have feelings, boys aren't meant to show their emotions, boys aren't allowed to, you're meant to be the, we call it the stiff upper lip over in the UK, but that's
yeah,
the most detrimental thing possible. And with my grandsons, if they got upset or angry or whatever else, I'd say to them, you need to let it out, because that's the one thing that's going to cause you a lot of problems later on in life.
yeah,
You need to have that freedom and that space to do that. And it's like with the stigma and the shame of having this bag. It's like you should have control of your bowel. When people have been potty trained, or if you've had a jippy tummy, you know yourself, getting to that low on that time, and if there's a little bit of a mishap, and if you've got people around you who are not compassionate and ridiculing you for it, well, then you've got all of that backlog history coming in
mm,
and biting you and going, but you should have control of this. You should have control of your bowel. You should know how to do this. You should know how to do that.
mm,
Because you've had that not constant ridicule, but you've just had those incidents of ridicule, and you've just gone, and that then just clams you up, and that again puts people ashamed of having this bag stuck to the stomach. And like you're saying with yourself, I'm glad that you're sharing with us that you have had, things have happened in your life
yeah,
with us, and that's brilliant. But like you're saying, it's realizing the impact that that has on your life all the way through until you address it, or until you decide how you want to handle it. And like,
mm,
you found your wife; she's listening to you. She'll be
mm.
giving you questions. Won't she? She'll be asking you questions, or just leaving a question out there for you to ponder over and think about. And brilliant.
Well, with her, uh she does this thing that I actually asked her, and she doesn't ask or say anything about it. She just listens to what I gotta say.
No,
Uh,
that's absolutely fine. That's
because
brilliant.
for me, like I don't know how to explain all the different
Yeah,
things that I've gone through, or
that's
like
okay.
I don't know how to go into detail about the things that I've experienced.
Right.
Which I know how to, but like verbally I can't figure out how to say it to basically an understanding for her.
Yeah.
And but there's a lot of people out there that, like you said, we've grown up in a time where, or at least when I was growing up, I grew up where men don't cry, men don't show these emotions. You're either happy or you're pissed off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you got to deal with it.
Mm.
And that's how I grew up my entire life. You don't cry, you don't do this, you don't do that. And it happens. Like you can't control it. Sometimes it's out of your reach to be able to stop what's happening. And a lot of people they don't accept it. And like with dealing with the uh ostomy bags, that they people don't accept that you can't have that full control, or you don't have that full control
Yeah.
where I do, where my kids do, where a random stranger sitting at a bus stop. They like we might have the control, but not everybody has that type of control. It's just like I don't know, anybody that's ever gotten the gallbladder taken out.
No,
Uh
submit not.
Anybody that's ever had gallbladder surgery, they know. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to hold to go to the bathroom. Like you have to go.
Yeah.
You can't hold it. Like you have to go right now, or it's gonna get messy.
Yeah.
So it's different. Like I don't have that, but I know people that have had the surgery, and that's why I can kind of speak on it, being
Yeah.
around them and stuff like that. So being like being an advocate for a situation like that, um when someone walks away from encountering you, like speaking with you in any type of way, what do you hope that you can share with them to kind of get them to understand and inspire them in any type of way?
Like you're saying, I mean, I will. I'm at the moment. I'm doing a big campaign on why I've got the stoma bag and why I'm who I am and whichever else. And so I'm being out there and being honest and going, yeah, life is tricky, life is hard, but like I said to you before, life does change. It naturally changes. And what you've got to do is just look at the big picture and go, yeah, life does change from what I did at. So it's like we say when you're starting to a toddler and you're starting to walk. Well, after 3 or 4 time efforts, do you just stop? No, you don't. You just persevere. You keep going and look at the benefits you've got from being able to achieve and move forward. And that's the same with life with this bag. Yeah, there's going to be days when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of days when it does. I mean, a lot of people will go, well, I don't go out because in case I need to change it. I've changed my bag on the middle of a little country road, had the boot open and just done it there and then because I couldn't find a toilet. And it's like, you don't have to make it a big obstacle. We don't have to be controlled. Like, obviously, for you, no disrespect, but men, they can go and whittle anywhere. They want to go for a wee, they can just go anywhere in the woods, whatever else. It's not a big problem. For us ladies, a little bit more difficult. And it's like, but it's shamed. It's frowned upon, and it's like,
Right.
but why? It's a bodily function. You don't have to always go into a toilet.
Mhm.
There are times and places when that's not necessary. And I want people just to be comfortable with their body. Their body has gone through hell and back as much as
Yeah.
what I have, as my emotional side has, as much as my mental side has. It's been battered, and respect it and look at it and going, you've gone through just as much as me, if not more, because you got zapped with all the radiotherapy and the surgeries and whichever else. And respect that and bring it all together and work together and move. Make little steps. You only progress and you will only achieve when you're out of your comfort zone. You don't do it if you're in the little bubble. Your little bubble is making you stagnant. It's
Yeah.
not keeping you safe.
Hmm.
I just want people to feel inspired, or just to get them to think. I
Yeah.
can, I can do more. Sorry, I can do more. I can achieve more. I can be better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and life.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, no, I like that. I like how you broke that down because honestly, uh, it's just getting the different understandings for people.
Yeah,
Um, but uh, where can people find your uh, like your advocacy? Where can people find your story if you share? Do you have books? Do you? I know you have the one link tree.
I do.
Um,
I've
but yeah,
I've got 140 odd blogs that I've got on my website, which is Unspoken Rosebud. I've also got I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm even getting dead clever, and I hate doing camera things, but I'm now actually got a YouTube channel that I'm being productive on now, which is really scary. See, out of your comfort zone,
okay,
you achieve so much more. And like you're saying, if you just put my name in and if you just put Unspoken Rosebud, I'll pop up anywhere. And I'm like I say, I'm happy to talk to people. Like I say, whether it's face to face, like through Zoom or um, Messenger and whichever else, I'll happily do that. Or I can meet face to face if we're in the same vicinity. But it's like you're saying, it's remembering that there is help out there and there is access out there. And like I said, to get my lingerie, I am on Etsy as Unspoken Rosebud, because we should be able to feel feminine and we should be able to feel sexy again and we should be able to feel elegant. And that's why I
yeah,
use the lingerie that I have.
fair enough, fair enough. Well, hopefully, with everything you got going on, being the advocacy for the anatomy, um, hopefully it can get and draw the attention that's needed to for making people more aware. Because I know, and I don't want to sound like I'm making a joke at it, but I
Right.
know it can be shitty
Yeah,
when people look at you different and think that you're different just because you're going through something different.
yeah. And that's it.
In the end, you're still a person, you're still
Yeah,
experiencing life, and you're learning along the way like everybody else is.
that's it. We're not a medical procedure. We're still that person. We've adapted, we've changed, and we're moving forward all the time. But we're still a person, and that person. We're not the bag. We're not the stoma, the ostomy, and whichever else. We are still. I'm still Helinka Carr. Yeah, I have this thing stuck to my stomach, but I am still me. I've changed. Of course, I've changed. But life, like you said, I would have changed in that period of time anyway. As I've done
Mhm.
all my life, I've made changes, as what you will do and have done.
Well, I'm doing my best to make changes, so
But you've made the big change by moving.
yeah, I'll give that. Yeah, I have. I've done a crazy change. I feel it was crazy at least. Um, when I don't know, it's different when you make a move like that, and you're creating a new life experience, so to speak. Because I tell people it's the second chapter.